Welcome back to Eerie Escape, where the line between history and horror blurs. I'm Makala.
And I'm Michelle. And tonight we dive into a tale that defies explanation. The Dybbuk Box. This seemingly ordinary wooden box has been the vessel of nightmares, unleashing a darkness that haunts all who come near it.
Legends say that the box contains a Dybbuk, which is a malicious spirit trapped within, waiting for an opportunity to break free and wreak havoc. What horrors lie in wait for anyone brave or foolish enough to open it? I guess let's find out.
I wouldn't be foolish enough to open it.
No, thank you.
No thanks.
I'm not going to risk it. You're putting a demon in a box. Obviously, That thing's pissed, okay?
Yeah. So some of you may be wondering why we're recording not in our normal space. My dad just recently got surgery, so I'm at home taking care of him. And we just couldn't find the time for both of us to get together. So we just decided to get together this way. It's a little bit more convenient for the both of us just for today, just for this episode. But the next episode, we should be back to our normal shtick.
Oh, yeah. Audio is going to be a little bit different. Video will be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah. So just bear with us because this story is really, really juicy. I think all would love to hear it. So the story of the Dybbuk Box begins with a woman named Havla, a Holocaust survivor who kept the box for decades, warning her family to never open it. She believed it housed a relentless spirit, a Dybbuk, that sought revenge, or worse, to escape its prison.
So in Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is a dislocated soul of a deceased person, often seeking revenge or fulfillment of an uncompleted task. These spirits can possess living individuals, leading them into madness or despair. And Havila feared that the spirit inside the box was a violent one, drawn to mischief and malevolence. Sounds like a demon to me.
Yeah, if I ever saw one. So Havila performed rituals to trap the spirit within, sealing the box with wax and inscribing it with protective symbols. Yet, her warnings fell on deaf ears when the box passed to her unsuspecting heirs. After her death, the box was left untouched for years, a sinister heirloom in a hidden attic.
I don't like that. Also, I always feel when it comes to things like this, everybody has like their grandparent or like their older relative or whatever that they think is just crazy.
Right.
And something like that, though, even if I thought my relative was crazy, if it was, she had like spoken to them about it and was like, hey, you need to leave this alone, maybe I would be kind of cautious.
Yeah, I probably would have, left it alone, especially if it was covered in wax.
Like,
and protective
it's not
symbols.
Meant to be open.
Yeah, I wouldn't have opened it. Even if it seemed tempting, no thanks. You couldn't pay me enough money. I mean, maybe. Because, times are tough. But
People
usually I would do anything for a
out.
tank of gas. What? Not in this case. I mean, let's be real.
But curiosity is a powerful force, and eventually a family member discovered the box.
Hey, curiosity killed the cat, so...
Literally.
Just saying.
And upon opening it, they unleashed a torrent of malevolence. Almost immediately, they began experiencing nightmares filled with shadowy figures, whispers calling her names in the dark, and the haunting sensation of cold hands reaching for them in their sleep.
Yeah, no. I could. That wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be me. No, thank you. No, ma'am.
I just imagine somebody, like, getting the box, cutting through the wax, opening it, and then you could just, like, feel the whole air in the room change,
Yeah.
Just, like, and at that point, you're fucked. You already opened it.
You're done. You're done. Done. Yeah. The new owner quickly fell ill, plagued by relentless headaches, terrifying visions, and a growing paranoia that someone, or rather something, was watching them. Friends and family reported strange occurrences like flickering lights, inexplicable cold spots, and items disappearing. only to return in the most unsettling places.
See,
Like, imagine you go to the bathroom and you clog the toilet and you go to try to find your plunger and it's just not there. And then you go in your kitchen to go pop some popcorn in the pantry and there's your plunger. And you were like, dang, I just wasted $700 on a plumber. That's weird. I don't think it'd be the same, but you know, maybe.
okay, like all of these things to me seem like steps or, you know, different classifications of demonic possession.
Mm-hmm.
Headaches, visions, paranoia. And at that case, also, you got to think they saw it and they didn't think anything of it, or they didn't think it was real. And so to me, that makes me feel like they're going to think that everybody else is going to think they're crazy, which makes it even worse because then you're sitting there and you're like, the paranoia sits in and you're like, oh, I'm crazy. Like, I'm losing my mind. Ugh. Items disappearing? Yeah. But desperate for relief, the owner sought help of a local psychic. The psychic claimed to sense a dark presence surrounding the box. Duh. And warning them that opening it had unleashed something ancient and vengeful.
Yeah.
The psychic advised sealing the box again and performing a cleansing ritual, but it was too late. The damage was already done. Because you waited, you opened the box, first of all.
Because you fucked around and found out in the most colossal way that you could. So, in an effort to escape the terror, the owner sold the box to an antique dealer. The dealer quickly learned that some objects are better left untouched. Within weeks, his shop became a house of horrors. Shadows began to dance in the corners, and he started hearing whispers that echoed in the dark, clawing at his sanity. So he was basically going insane, like slowly going insane.
So how selfish you have to be to open the box and then push it off on somebody else? Like, the demon or the Dybbuk, in this case, is still attached to the box, but it's not in the box anymore. Like, so you're going out and you're selling it to this antique dealer who has no freaking clue that this stuff that's actually going on. I mean, look at, like, I don't know, exorcism kits and stuff. Like, people go and buy that stuff because it's cool, but they, in their mind, they're like, oh, it's been used and it's been cleansed, so it's okay, you know?
Yeah, but a lot of people don't understand that, like, you know, objects and things like furniture or like just regular pieces of items can hold spirits and attachments to it.
Yep.
Which I think, like, whenever this time was, I'm pretty sure it was like back in the day, because Dybbuks have been supposedly around for a long time, that people weren't necessarily like worried about this kind of stuff. And they weren't necessarily like knowledgeable about like hauntings and ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. A lot of that time, people were just like so religious and they believed in like heaven and hell and that, but I don't think they really believed in like demons.
No. What's crazy is there's a lot of people that don't think Dybbuk boxes are real. They don't think it's real. But the story doesn't end there, sadly, with the antique dealer. One night, as he closed up shop, he found himself inexplicably drawn to the box, as if it were calling him in. Staring into its depths, he was struck by images of tormented souls. People screaming, shadows writhing in agony, and glimpses of a figure dark and twisted beckoning him closer.
Ugh, no.
At that point, you're stuck with something that's so dark.
It's like,
I mean, he hasn't even
rid of it.
Just looking at it caused all of that.
Right.
Like, no, thank you. And it's in a shop.
An
People are coming in and out of there all day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they do say that if there's like one entity and there's others around it, like kind of like they feed off each other's energies. So if it's an antique shop,
everything worse.
It's antiques. A lot of things that happen come from antiques. So,
and you're taking somebody's item that has all that energy stored up in it anyway.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of things that are haunted per se that people don't even know. Like, and you wouldn't. And instead, in less cases like this, like, it's almost like a power grab. You bring like an ancient, powerful energy in somewhere, and they're able to control everything else going on.
Hard pass.
No thanks.
So, despite his attempts to rid himself of the box, he found himself trapped, unable to resist its pull. Night after night, he was haunted by the same shadowy figure, its eyes glowing with a fiery hunger that made his blood run cold. He began to lose touch with reality, haunted by visions of the box, a cruel reminder of the darkness he had unleashed. That poor man.
We're seeing a lot of people opening stuff up they're not supposed to.
Yeah, fucking around and finding out.
But desperate for answers, he contacted paranormal experts, hoping to put an end to this curse. But they warned him that some spirits are best left undisturbed. Despite their caution, he pressed on. But the Dybbuk had no intention of letting go. Again, this is an ancient spirit. You don't think people have tried to get rid of this thing? There's a reason why it's in the box.
Right.
Contained.
Exactly. So after this, another victim came into play. An aspiring artist who bought the box at a local auction. Oblivious to his dark history, she planned to use it as a prop for her latest work, believing it to just be an antique. However, once the box arrived at her studio, strange things began to occur, of course. Shadows lurked in her paintings, whispers echoed through the halls, and she found herself plagued by dark thoughts. It's like a domino effect. You knock one domino down and it just knocks all of them down eventually.
Use it as a prop. Oh my god. As the weeks passed, her art transformed into disturbing depictions of death and despair. Friends expressed concerns for her mental state as she spiraled deeper into darkness. One night, she claimed to have a vision of a woman trapped inside the box, her face twisted in anguish, begging for freedom.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. Oh god. And for it to start to show up, it got in her head so much to the point where it reflected on her work. That's what these these demons or dybbuks do. They get inside your head and they wreak havoc on your life. And if I'm not mistaken, I think dybbuks, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that they're kind of like demons attached to themselves. Well, demons can be a little bit different, I think. They will attach themselves to one person and only mess with that one person. But demons do it to a whole household, I think. Am I wrong?
No, I think that's because it's essentially trying to get to the person that it's directly affecting, whoever has possession of it.
Yeah, whoever opened it.
Yep. But the thing is, that's basically what they're doing is they're trying to collect souls, which is scary enough, because if you're already she hasn't even had it for that long. It's been weeks, and she's already being affected that bad. See, the thing is, the Dybbuk can still be in the box and still affect you. That's what people don't understand. To a certain degree, I guess. It's not full blown, whatever. As soon as you open that box, the whole point of it is trying to get you to open the box. Convince you need to open this. You need to do this. Whatever. But that's freaking terrifying. And there's nothing you can do. See, that's the thing, because you can't describe what's going on to your friends. You can, but they're not going to understand.
Right.
And
unless they're already skeptics and already know about it. But if you don't tell them what's going on and you just start acting weird one day, they're gonna catch up one night.
They're gonna be something's off.
If they're good friends.
Yeah. Unless they're no, she's lost it. We just need to never talk to her again.
Right. She's going a little bit off her rocker. Just leave her alone.
The problem with it is, somebody, if you put yourself in their shoes, you own the Dybbuk box. You feel bad because you don't want to pass it off, because then it's going to affect whoever has possession of the box.
Right. You do and you don't at the same time. You don't because you don't want anybody else to go through it if you're a selfless person. But then again, I think at a point it drives you to insanity to the point where you have to get rid of it. Where you just have to say, when is enough? If I can't get this thing to go away on my own and other people can't help me get rid of it, then what do I do?
Yeah. You're just stuck.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was just about to say. You're literally stuck. But the Dybbuk Box's curse did not end there. One night after hearing about the box, a college student named Daniel decided to host a sleepover with his friends to tell scary stories. Sounds like one of our sleepovers. It sounds like a sleepover we would do. Of course, they laughed and joked, drinking and daring each other to open this infamous box, which he had obtained from a dubious online auction. eBay! If y'all have ever heard of the Dybbuk Box craze back, and I think it was maybe like 2014, 15, 16-ish. I was like kind of like late-ish in high school, but it was like all the rave. The Dybbuk boxes were all the rave. All these like famous YouTubers and like paranormal YouTubers and stuff were buying these boxes off of eBay and were opening them on camera, and they would either be fake Dybbuk boxes or real Dybbuk boxes. But there's been a few videos that I used to watch that were, I believe, were really real. Yeah, like this one guy opened the Dybbuk box and you could see like the smoke come up. But before, he took like an EMF transmitter and like went around the whole box. And there was only one side of the box that it like alerted with his EMF transmitter, that's the word for it, not translator. This translator would be like, get the fuck out of here, open me, let me get out. But transmitter. And then weird shit started happening in his apartment. And then one morning he like woke up and his dog's face was like swollen, like shut. And he had to take the dog to the emergency vet. And they said the vet had no idea what happened to the dog, said that the dog must have gotten like stung by a bee. But it was the middle of the night. In the middle of the winter, mind you. And the dog's face was swollen for like 2 days. It was, I don't know. It was insane to me, but there was a lot of stuff that happened. I wish I remembered whose YouTube video it was. It was this guy, and now he does like paranormal investigations on YouTube. Maybe we can find out who it is, but he's on YouTube, and the shit was so insane. Dude,
I've seen that. I've also seen, Sam and Colby.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have a channel called like Sam and Colby React. It's literally them like doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them, they got their team to order them like a bunch of like haunted objects off eBay and stuff. And one of them happened to be a Dybbuk box, and they opened it on camera. But I just think about stuff like that. Like, I mean, they have them on Etsy, they have them on eBay. Then you have some YouTubers who manage to get onto the dark web somehow and order them. Which, fuck that. The dark web? No thanks. And but the scary thing is, and I think this is what entices people, is you don't know if it's real or not.
Right.
But the problem with that is, if it is real, you're screwed. Like, are the views really that worth it?
Is the clout and the money really worth it? Because
like,
I can tell you,
we're not talking about some like little teeny spirits, just doing dumb stuff like knocking on your door or whatever. No, this thing could kill you.
Right.
Or drive you to unalive yourself.
Yeah. Would not be me.
Mm-mm.
And I believe that some sellers were selling them for like $5 a box. And they would label them like mystery Dybbuk box. And it would like look real creepy, like this old antique box. Some of them, I think I saw one of them, because I think I went on eBay one time just to look, because I sure wasn't going to buy one. And I'm pretty sure one was a Nike shoebox covered in wax. And somebody was selling them for like $50.
I don't know about the cardboard box.
There was 3 bids on it. 3 bids.
That is wild to me. I mean, I get it. If you want to go in there and get a fake one, like, I get it for, the allure, it's a Dybbuk box, but it's fake kind of thing. Like, decoration, I guess. Yeah. But not the damn Nike box.
Yeah, like...
I mean, you could have at least gone to, like, Michael's and gotten a freaking wood box for $10,
It's like the dude came home and was like,
The wild thing is he's making money off of somebody bidding on a freaking Nike shoebox.
I bet you,
like,
yeah. Do you know what
probably sold
could do? And yeah, probably did. I mean, of course I didn't go back and look. I was just like, what?
The fucking shoebox.
I thought it was the most like insane thing ever if you ask me. But anyway.
To our story. They gathered around the box, their bravado masking a growing sense of unease. As Daniel opened it, a sudden chill enveloped the room. The lights flickered, casting long shadows that twisted and writhed like living things. The atmosphere shifted, and laughter turned to nervous glances. Like I said, the whole environment changes. Your fight or flight kicks in and says, get the hell out.
Right. So, with a smirk, Daniel pulled out the content. It included a collection of old coins, a faded photograph of a woman, and a tattered piece of parchment covered in strange symbols. Just as he read the parchment aloud, a loud crash echoed through the room, as if something unseen had violently knocked over furniture. Nope.
So you opened the box and you read the fucking cursed scroll that is in the box.
Yep. Nope. I'd be grabbing my hairbrush, my toothbrush, my 2 pieces of clothing, my pillow, and I'd be gone.
Oh, but it gets worse. Startled, the group looked at each other, but the real horror began when they noticed that Daniel's demeanor completely changed.
Of course it did.
He seemed to grow distant, his eyes glazing over as he started to speak in a language none of them recognized. His friends laughed at first, thinking he was playing a prank, but the laughter quickly died when Daniel's voice dropped to a guttural growl.
No. Wait, it gets worse. So, in that time, the temperature in the room plummeted. The friends huddled together, and fear was coursing through them. Daniel began to claw at his own skin, gasping for breath. Terrified, they tried to restrain him, but he was overwhelmed by a force they couldn't understand. They fled the room, finally, but leaving Daniel behind, consumed by the shadows. So they were just basically like, I know we're cool, but we ain't this cool. Bye.
I mean, why didn't they try to stop?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're in college and there's drinking involved and stuff, your judgment can get a little cloudy.
I mean, you already did the most by opening it, and then you thought it was... First of all, everybody knows, when it comes to things like this, or witchcraft and things like that, you don't touch the stuff inside. You never touch it. Don't ever touch it. Period.
Even when you go to a shop.
Yes. Don't touch it. You don't know what kind of energy's on there. You don't know. I think people fully think that, like, I'm going to say, like, magic, as people would call it. I think people think that it's not real.
Yeah.
What? Go to New Orleans.
You'll see a lot of stuff down there. Trust me. I've been. And it's spooky dooky.
It's just wild to me. People really think that, like, this stuff isn't real.
Right. Which, I mean, clearly it is.
But the next morning they returned to find the room empty. Daniel was gone, vanished without a trace. The Dybbuk Box remained sitting innocently in the center of the room, its malevolence undisturbed. The friends quickly left, vowing never to speak of that night again.
So, are they just not going to look for their friend?
Well, I hate to say it, but Daniel's not coming back.
Yeah.
No, he's not. And
but
that's just wild.
Unfortunately, the haunting didn't end there. Over the following weeks, they each began experiencing strange occurrences. Shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their vision, whispers calling their names at night, and a deep-seated dread that refused to leave them. That's what they get. And I hate to be the person that says that because, nobody deserves that. But, they did, my famous saying, they did something and found out really quickly.
See, that's the thing. At this point, the box is open and they've already read the scroll out aloud. Or Daniel read the scroll aloud. But you're all affected. Like, you're all involved.
It's like a Ouija board.
Literally. Like, the whole purpose of it is to, like, it wants to collect souls, and so it's gonna torment you. And now, I mean, let's be real here. The box is God knows where. They just were like, I guess Daniel's gone, peace out. Didn't even bother to look for their friend.
Yeah. And,
like, now you don't have the box, so there's no way you're getting it back in the box. You're screwed. You're done. This isn't just a normal thing where you can go and, like, cleanse your space and, like, it'll disappear. Like, you're screwed.
I mean, they do say the Dybbuk boxes can not only possess you, but they can move objects. So what makes them think that it didn't possess him and then he grabbed the box and disappeared off the face of the earth?
Literally. They can move objects. They can cause you great misfortune. Like, we're talking about, like... We'll get into that in a second. Because we're going to have to talk about a certain Dybbuk Box situation. But today, the Dybbuk Box resides in a museum, carefully locked away behind glass surrounded by warnings and protective charms. Yet, the visitors still report feeling its cold gaze, an icy chill creeping up their spines as they approach. There are stories of people who, after visiting, found themselves plagued by nightmares and inexplicable misfortune. And with that, why don't we go ahead and talk about Zach Bagans for a second? Okay. Everybody, I'm sure, knows about his haunted museum and the Dybbuk Box that's within. Okay.
Yes.
Now, there is some controversy over it, stating that the original owner of the Dybbuk Box claims that it wasn't real and that it was fake, right? Mm-hmm. But it took a long time for it to come out that it was fake. So we're not really sure, okay? But I'm not going to ignore the fact that, you know, when he and Post Malone pulled up at the museum and decided to lift the case off the Dybbuk Box and open it or touch it.
Not Posty.
Post Malone almost died like 3 times that next week. He got into a car accident that literally, I mean, his car was like totaled. It's like some other stuff happened. Something happened with his car. He like lost a bunch of money all of a sudden from something. And then something with his plane or something that he was going to take off and like go somewhere with. I don't know. It was a bunch, but I'm just like.
And as far as Zach Bagans goes, Zach Bagans claims to be, you know, possessed every other week. So, you know. I
mean, yeah, you can't. However, did you see their Halloween special at the Haunted Museum?
I saw like a special, like a haunted special thing for Halloween, but I think that was like years ago. They like went to different places and investigated, but I haven't seen I haven't seen anything that has to do with his museum besides. No, that wasn't at his museum, but where they went to that place that had all the clowns.
Oh, the Clown Motel?
Yeah, and he stuck Aaron in the room with all the clowns.
Poor Aaron. But, so this might have been, I think it might have been 2 Halloweens ago. It wasn't this past Halloween. Mm-hmm. But they did a special at his haunted museum. So he was there. Oh no, it was a while ago because you know Project Fear. Okay, so one of the people of Project Fear, his name's Dakota. You probably have seen Dakota. I'm sure you've seen him because he used to work for Ghost Adventures. And then he did Project Fear was a show that was under Nick Groff and was one of the shows that was canceled. But it's now over on YouTube. Anyway, it was a few years ago because Dakota was on the show, on the special. But essentially he gets like a bunch of guests and stuff and they're there and they basically are investigating the museum. But what makes it worse is he brings in a witch, okay? And the building that his museum is in is haunted. I mean, it's like a known place. There used to be like satanic rituals and stuff that went on in the basement, all this other stuff. Well, he brings in a witch, and she basically opens up the portal for whatever to come through.
Yes, I've seen that.
He brings in Patty Negri. Yeah. And they don't get along. And she's like, what the hell have you done here? Essentially. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. But the Dybbuk Box was in there, and he brought in one of the previous owners. Yeah, and that guy was freaking terrified. I mean, like, you could tell he was absolutely terrified. They've had people go into the museum. They go in the room, the Dybbuk Box, and they're so overwhelmed. They feel like something's literally choking them. They pass out. Yeah. People have gotten scratched in there. Like, to me, I don't think something like that needs to be in a museum. Like, at least something where people can get that close to it. If it's real, you don't want to find out, okay? If it's fake, that's one thing. But
I mean, they do have the Annabelle doll, but the Annabelle doll is so like highly protected behind like glass and stuff. But that box, it kind of just seems like, even though it's behind glass, I feel like it's just behind like regular window glass.
I mean, they say the glass is like this thick or something, and like they have like a bunch of stuff like protecting it, and like they bring somebody in to cleanse the room or something like once or twice a week or something like that. But I don't know. To me, if it's causing something in there, and it makes it worse because it's in a place with tons of haunted objects. I mean, you've got like crazy stuff. Like, I think he has Ed Gein's cauldron or something.
He has a lot of stuff
like that. I mean, everything's heightened, and so I mean, the thing is, she opened that portal. You don't know what the hell came through and stayed.
Right.
Just saying. And you already have stuff in there that's insane. The stairs from the demon house are in there. I think he has an issue with, please forgive me, Robert the Doll. I think he has issues with Robert the Doll.
I have an issue with Robert the Doll. I have an issue with it.
I think it's like similar occurrences, like people go in there and say the Dybbuk box is fake and all this other stuff, and then something similar happens to them. But I mean, there's been numerous videos of people on TikTok that go and things are following them home.
Yeah, no. I need to grab some of my crystals because I'm not going to have any of that bad juju.
Bitch, I'm losing my mind. I keep seeing things, so I'm staring at the reflection of the outside door, and I can see the kitchen doorway and the lights on. I keep seeing things like flash by the door, but nobody's in the kitchen.
That's weird.
But it's like a flash of light, like bright light.
So back to what we were saying about the Dybbuk box that resides in the museum. Not the Zach Bagans, the museum. But
this is a different one.
It's a different one. One visitor claimed that she felt fingers brushing against the back of her neck, a whisper in her ear begging for release. Another felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as before with Daniel, as if the box were a living entity, hungry and waiting. A local paranormal group, curious about the box's power, attempted to film an investigation, but they left empty-handed, with their equipment malfunctioning and their mood broken. They didn't record anything.
That's a common thing.
Yeah. Like all their batteries were drained, their cameras were dead. It was a whole thing.
That's like, I mean, you gotta think if this entity is ancient, one, it's gonna draw the energy out of your batteries and whatnot anyway, just to manifest. But then you really think it's gonna let you catch it on camera?
Right. Like it's I hate to say it, but it's smarter than that.
Yeah. And
like,
what's crazy is, in a chilling twist, rumors circulate that the box is not merely a vessel for a Dybbuk, but a trap for multiple spirits, each feeding off the fears of those who dare to come near. And some say it even has the ability to attach itself to anyone who hears its stories, forever binding them to its curse.
Sorry. Oops.
Oopsie.
Sorry, not sorry. I mean, look at us. We are the ones that covering the story, so maybe we're just like Daniel. Who knows? Sorry, Daniel. R.I.P. Because we know you are no longer a part of the land of the living. So,
nope.
So, what is the truth behind the Dybbuk box? Is it simply an object cursed by a tragic past? Or is it a vessel for something more sinister? Who knows? The answers may never come, but one thing is certain. It does wait, silently, in the dark, waiting to be opened.
And for those who dare to challenge it, have often found themselves ensnared in its web, unable to escape the grasp of the Dybbuk that lurks within. So if you ever find yourself on a darkened road, and you hear a faint whisper, or feel the touch of a cold hand, remember the Dybbuk box.
Because you just never know. And don't be going into antique shops and buying boxes. Just don't do it. Just stay away from the box. Go to Michael's and get a wooden box if you need it for something, but don't use it for a Dybbuk box. Whatever you do. And don't go online trying to buy one because you don't know what's enclosed in it. And you just don't want to have that bad mojo. No. So we hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. We release every Tuesday. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you think we should go a little bit further on a Dybbuk box or whatnot. Leave your suggestions down in the comments. We'd love to hear all of them. And we will be back in a normal recording setting next episode. Thank you guys for sticking around with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Also. Let us know in the comments if you think that the Dybbuk box is a trap for multiple spirits, or if it's just one single entity.
Yeah, we would like to know, because I think it can go both ways.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
Kind of like a portal in a way.
Literally. It's trapping everybody.
Yeah, so beware. Watch out. It might be coming for you next. But ultimately, until next time,
sweet nightmares.